All right, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in on a Thursday instead of a Wednesday. Since I was at the Grizzly game last night, where unfortunately the Grizzlies' 5 game winning streak was snapped, making me wonder why the reason they lost. Hopefully, it wasn't the case. But we're gonna get started in just a bit. This is the time to get right episode of Titans and Truth. So we're going to be talking Titans Jags as they come off the bye week. And we do have some breaking news to start off the show. We're going to get into that. Also, make sure you get your pick my brain questions for me. So we're going to definitely go into the news of the day, the injury report, and then we're going to pick my brain and as well as preview how the Tennessee Titans can and should get a win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to get ready to get this show started. Make sure y'all share this show out on YouTube, on Facebook, also on Instagram as well. So make sure y'all definitely do that. And we are going to have a good time. So let's get ready to get started with Titans and Truth starting in 30 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome into Titans and Truth tonight. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, and we are going to have a very fun episode on this evening. Make sure as we get ready to get started, make sure y'all do share this show out to everybody. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, turn on your notifications so you know you'll get the notifications when a live show is going to happen. And that way you stay tuned to everything. If you're new to the show, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and also share it out on, of course, Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. And again, I am close to 1,100 subscribers, so please help me get there and everything with that. So I thank y'all very much for that. Also, if you want some TNT swag, make sure y'all hit me up. You can hit me up on any of the pages on the ticker below, whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, or on here on YouTube, or my email address at canewell817@gmail.com. Just put in the subject Titans and Truth merch, and you can get either the Carolina blue shirt or the navy blue shirt. Also, if you can also hit up Miss Latoya Akinyemi on Facebook and also on Instagram at Queen Butterfly Tees, or at her email at queenbutterflytees@gmail.com. If you want any hats, you can hit me up or my guy Out the Crib Customs. That's on Instagram at out_the_crib_customs if you want some TNT hat swag, just like what I have on right now, as y'all can see right here. So we got a lot to get to, and I see we have a couple of people in. Of course, Diego cheering for Atlas, the soccer team, hoping that they can win a championship for the first time in 70 years. Facebook says tighten up. And so let's get into the breaking news. breaking news, and that is that the Tennessee Titans have claimed former Texans running back, former Texan linebacker and former Vanderbilt linebacker Zach Cunningham. Now, this was something that I honestly did not expect to happen. I definitely thought they should put in a claim for him because I think he's a very, very good linebacker, especially in run coverage. He's a tackling machine and can definitely be beneficial in this defense, especially with the things with, Rashaan Evans and Jayon Brown kind of working their way back from injury, and David Long is still down, and Monty Rice is out for the season. It looks like, according to Shane Bowen, as far as the linebacking core. So the interior inside linebackers definitely took a blow, and we definitely needed some reinforcements, and we definitely got that with Zach Cunningham. So I thought this was all in all an extremely solid pickup for the Tennessee Titans. The way that I thought it was going to work, I kept seeing when would, that Zach was going to be on waivers. I was surprised when I saw the news that the Texans cut him. And then, I hear the reports about it, and I believe some of the local people were saying, well, Zach Cunningham is not going to last very long. Somebody's going to claim him on the waiver wire. And the Titans were so far down on the waiver wire that it didn't look like they really were going to have a chance to take him. And, they worked out some linebackers this week, including former Cowboys linebacker Jalen Smith. But the Titans, I was shocked to find the news. I wake up earlier today and find the news. Zach Cunningham got claimed. I honestly thought it was a terrific pickup. Zach Cunningham wanted out of Houston. He got out of Houston. And I think here is a very an excellent change of scenery. I was listening to Stillman and Company, and former Vanderbilt head coach Derek Mason commented and said, this is the right team for him. Good situation for him. And, now Zach Cunningham is a part of a winning team, can come in and contribute right away. Basically, this cost the Titans nothing. And none of his money, I believe, is guaranteed after this season. So the Titans, I think, are in a good situation. His cap number goes up, and I'm pretty sure that's something that they can work out because he's under contract for the next 3 years. But if, let's just say, these next few games, it doesn't go very well for Zach Cunningham, they can easily get out of that contract, and it hurts them none. So, this is a pretty good gamble to take. I think it's a very good and very solid move for the Tennessee Titans to pick him up, and I just think this is going to completely help our defense. We're already good against the run. I think this makes it even better. And this also tells me it's going to take a little bit longer for David Long to come back. And also with Monty Rice, where it looks like he's out for the season. And this definitely, with this move, especially if Zach Cunningham does well, I think this basically confirms that it might look like neither Jayon nor Rashaan Evans is going to be returning. Clowney Super Bowl says, we got our boy Cunningham another piece to the Super Bowl run. Ian, what's up with you, my brother? What's up with you, good sir? Besides, also, I believe I should say happy Founders Day, I think, to you and the guys of Alpha Phi Alpha. I did not know that you were an Alpha. I think I remember you telling me that. You're saying it's a good pickup. I think eventually he and Long will be a good linebacker tandem. I was shocked he fell that far down for us to get him. I was too. I was not expecting that to happen. Facebook, why the Texans let him go? The Texans are in a fire sale position. They're not that good. They're trying to shed as much salary as they can, and trying to position themselves for the draft. They're just dumping players now. And there's obviously been some issues there in Houston. He's wanted out, and now he's getting a fresh start. And he's getting with a guy that he's familiar with, and he's back in a familiar city of Nashville. Of course, he had some success with Vanderbilt. So I just think, this is a good spot for him. CW says Cunningham's going to be thrilled to be on a team with a winning record with our front seven. Going to be nice to have Evans back as well. I definitely agree with that. Paulie D, what's going on? And I'm with y'all. I think that this is a great move for the Titans. I think, now he's on a winning team. I think that psychs him up even more. So, obviously, I see Ian saying 06. I'm like, I hear y'all, but I'm 14. Hey, Blue Phi with my brothers of Phi Beta Sigma. So, definitely glad with that. And I really like the move. I really like the move with Zach Cunningham. I think it just helps make our defense better. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play. So that was some breaking news with Zach Cunningham, now a member of the Tennessee Titans. Also, some other news that was coming out. I'll go to this one first. Of course, Kevin Byard activated off the COVID-19 list and is back practicing with the team today. He basically came out and was like, look, the whole family was kind of dealing with it. Was kind of, dealing with the kids had, fever. His wife wasn't feeling too well and things like that. But it looks like everybody's on the mend and is getting better, and so is he. So he seemed like he's going to be fine and good to go as well. Also, the Titans signed former Colts running back Jordan Wilkins to the practice squad. I believe Jordan Wilkins also was a local kid, if I'm not mistaken, as I'm trying to look up some information. I want to say he was a local kid as well. And yeah, actually is. He's from right here. He's from right here in Memphis, Tennessee, Cordova, to be exact. And so he went to St. Benedict. He went to St. Benedict High School here and then went to Ole Miss. So another local product coming back home. Definitely a good pickup there. As to the running back depth, as we wait for Derrick Henry to return, he'll come in with Dontrell Hilliard, Deontay Foreman, and of course Jeremy McNichols is back practicing, trying to get off a concussion protocol. So, I think this is fine. So I'm good with this move as well. And of course, the big news that came out before today is that Julio Jones, Dane Cruikshank, and Ray C. McMath designated to return from IR. They are back practicing. They have not been activated to the main roster yet, but they are practicing, trying to get activated back to the main roster. So definitely like seeing Julio Jones back in the mix. And I haven't seen anything saying that Julio is struggling or anything. So, I think it looks pretty good that Julio Jones could get activated this week. And so, they were going kind of at half speed and things like that yesterday. And then today he practiced again. Not hearing that there were any bad things happening with Julio as far as the injury is concerned. I know he had some he had a wrap on that right hamstring. And so, as I'm looking at Jim Wyatt's tweet, Julio back practicing again, and looks like signs are looking good. So he's practiced 2 days in a row and did not leave. So, I think that's, pretty good. That's very good to know. So Julio being back would be a pretty big deal. And then, of course, Golden Tate, hopefully he gets elevated up as well, as CW has mentioned. Definitely could use a boost. I mean, I definitely agree. And CW saying that, missed on tight end. And we definitely missed on that. Definitely missed on that. Tommy Hudson not practicing. And I mean, right now, Michael Pruitt is your best tight end. Let's see, Lee, you heard my thought on Jordan Wilkins. I think he's a nice pickup. Good to pick up a local kid from not far from here, So I definitely like that. D09, what's going on with you? Kent Woods, what's up? Joseph said we got Julio back. We do. So that is definitely good. Paulie D says, straight they didn't put David Long on IR. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I guess they're hoping that they're going to get him back at some point. Shane saying Cunningham core is going to be nasty. I hope so too, and everything. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But we'll definitely see how this keeps going into Sunday. And speaking of injuries, here is the injury update from the last 2 days of practice. And let me put that down. So I apologize if y'all can't see all of it, but basically this is the practice for the last couple of days. As you can see, David Long did not practice again today. Elijah Molden didn't practice on Wednesday, but was limited today. Tier Tart did not practice. Now, here is a little bit that may be a pause for concern. Maybe not too much. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Danico Autry was limited yesterday, did not practice today. That is something to keep an eye on. Let's see. Harold Landry limited for the last 2 days. So he's going to be, looks like he may be okay. But definitely Ola, Jayon, Rashawn Evans, Greg Maben, Jeremy McNichols, and here's an important name, Nate Davis, all practice fully today. And so looks like Jeremy McNichols and Nate Davis should come off of concussion protocol. And this could be the first time, probably since week 1, we have our entire starting offensive line playing together on game day. So that's going to be something that's important. For the Jags, Josh Allen was limited today, did not practice yesterday, but was limited today. Miles Jack, for the second straight day, did not practice. So that's something to keep an eye on. Brandon Linder, one of their offensive linemen, did not practice. James Robinson was limited yesterday, did not practice today. That is something to definitely keep an eye on as well. And so that could be a pretty big deal. So we're definitely going to see what happens going forward with some of these injuries that are happening on both teams. So I think we're getting some bodies back. Lee said, could Autry have been resting today? That's possible. That is definitely possible that, they might be just kind of taking it slow with him, bringing him back, and he should be ready. We'll see what happens tomorrow with practice as well. And also some pretty nice positive news that has come out, from one Diana Rossini, and I'm going to be playing that clip in just a second. And there was some definite news, there was some definite optimism as far as one King Henry. So as Lee alluded to, that, could be on the early end of the recovery timetable. So this was Diana Rossini on the Buck Rising show on 104.5 The Zone earlier today. And this is what she had to say on that. So it's about 30 to 40 seconds. So here we go.
they are, in fact, as you stated, optimistic about Derrick Henry's return. January has been put out there a couple of times, but it sounds like that's been your observances as well from the people that you've had conversations with.
Yeah, I definitely would say that, optimistic attitude is the best way to describe it. This going back to closer to when Derek originally injured it, or at least got the surgery to fix the problem. Um, I don't think anybody listening here who's a Titans fan doubts Derrick Henry's will and effort he's going to put in to the rehab process to get back out on the field. And I think it's going to be one of those situations where, I think anytime we talk timeline, it's always hard because it's medical. You never know what setbacks are going to happen. But if there's any player, I think right now who's on IR, who has potential to get back sooner, I think it's Derrick Henry. And the doctors and medical professionals are all saying that this type of injury takes 6 to 8 weeks from it, and you do the math, and it makes sense as it falls in January. But I think that this organization feels it's going to be on the early side of it rather than the later.
Diana Rossini of ESPN.
Now, so that is actually, I mean, man, that's an eye opener, a good eye opener. And Buck has even said that there has been a lot of there's some cautious optimism in the locker room about Derrick Henry. He's been in the building. He's definitely been in the building, getting treatment. What's up on Facebook? He's been getting the treatment. He's getting worked on. He's in the building. He's definitely around the team. So it's not like a lot of time where you're on injured reserve, you're not even around the team or stuff like that. You're trying to rehab. So I definitely like the way this is trending. So we got to remember, after this Jaguars game, kind of on Tuesday, next Tuesday, that basically marks 6 weeks. So it would have been 6 weeks post-surgery on Tuesday. And, you remember some weeks back, I played a video, I believe it was from the Pro Football Doc. And, around 6 weeks, and I believe it was even on A to Z Sports, another doctor, around 6 weeks could be around the time where, Derek could, try to start running and try to start, maybe put a little weight on that foot to try to see how things are working and things are going. Now, I think this obviously destroys Adam Schefter's report of out for the season. And, Ian Rappaport came in and said 6 to 10 weeks. Rossini is saying around 6 to 8 weeks. But, I mean, you're looking at 6 to 10 weeks. And so I've been thinking about this. And we know how Derrick Henry is. Derrick Henry is not built like a human being. He is not your average human. If anything, Derrick Henry is a superhuman. Derrick Henry is a monster of a man. And the fact of the matter is this. He's built like a beast alien of, to speak of. I mean, he is not of this world. Not of this world at all. And so, if you were to ask me, I agree with Diana on this one. She's saying that he's going to probably be returning more on the early side than the later side. So, definitely looking at sooner than 10 weeks. I don't think it'll be 6 weeks, honestly. So, I wouldn't expect Derrick Henry to be practicing ready to go for Pittsburgh. I don't see that happening. But what I would say, and this is just, I'm not a doctor, this is just my opinion, I'm going to say 8 weeks. I think it's 8 weeks. I think Derrick Henry will be ready to go for the Miami game. That's just my prediction. That is just my off the wall, just shot in the dark prediction. I think Derrick Henry is ready in 8 weeks. I think in 8 weeks he comes back. I think he'll be ready to go when we play the Miami Dolphins for the final home game of the season. And you think about it like this. You got this week, you got the Jags game. After this week is 6 weeks. Then you got Pittsburgh. The next week will mark 7 weeks. And then, of course, you got 4 days later, you got the game against San Francisco. Then after that, you got 10 days. You got 10 days. So from that Thursday to that following Sunday, that's 8 weeks going into Miami. I think that's when we're going to see Derrick Henry. And I'm not saying Derrick Henry will play the whole game. But I think what will happen is that in the Miami game, he gets maybe, I'm going to say 8 to 10 touches, 8 to 10 carries. Let Deontay Foreman get the majority of the carries. Dontrell Hilliard and Jeremy McNichols help in the passing game. Then against Houston, maybe get 10 to maybe 15 or 12 to 15. Kind of let him get his legs under him. Get his legs back under him, kind of knock off some rust, test it out. And hopefully by then, we're going to have the number 1 seed again, and then he gets that extra bye week to get ready for the divisional round. And then that divisional round, he's ready to go full tilt, give him 20 carries. So that's what I think. I think 8 weeks is that best case scenario number, in my honest opinion. I think 6 weeks would be a little bit too soon. Coming back right out of 6 weeks or 7 weeks. I think 8 weeks is the perfect number. I definitely think he'll be sooner than 10, without a doubt. At the worst case scenario, I think he's ready to go before Houston. Let him get a week to get his legs under him before the playoffs. That's just my honest opinion. Let me see what y'all think as well on that. Lee said he could get his 21-day designation to return next week. I think that's a little bit too soon. And shout out to Lee in the 615 podcast. I was on his podcast last week, and I had a good time. Paulie D says, even Schefter is changing his tone. I see that. He said about 7 weeks after surgery Derrick just had, you could gradually return. Yeah, they said after 6 weeks he could kind of start slowly returning. Chris Fraser said let him come back versus the 49ers. I think that's a little bit too soon in my opinion, but we know Derrick Henry is a workout warrior. Like I said, he's built differently. Paulie D says we got to hold the fort till the king comes back to sit on his throne. And minus the fumbles, I think Deontay Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard are starting to do that. And Lee, I'm kind of with you. 5 carries against Miami, 8 to 10 against Houston. I'm saying like around 5 to maybe 10 carries against Miami, maybe 10 to 12 against Houston. That's just what I'm thinking as far as I'm concerned with Derrick Henry. So that was some good news that we were able to get as far as Derrick Henry and him coming back. We won't have a two-tone blue star of the week or dunce of the day because, hey, we're on a bye week. But I will say, two-tone blue star of the week is the bye week. Getting some guys back, like Rashaan Evans, like Jayon Brown resting, Nate Davis and Jeremy McNichols, getting practice, coming off a concussion protocol. Bringing Harold Landry got a week to rest, and he's been limited. So getting a week to rest. Ola Adeni coming back and everything. So that's pretty good. Julio Jones back practicing again. So bye week definitely wins the day, without a doubt. There is no dunce of the day because we're on a bye week. Dunce of the day probably has to go to, I would have to probably say Baltimore, falling. Baltimore losing a game and helped us it helped us out. So I definitely think I definitely do think the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're the two-tone blue star of the week as well. Pittsburgh helping us by beating Baltimore and helping us get to the second seed in the AFC. A dunce of the day definitely goes to Buffalo because Buffalo had a chance to win. Buffalo should have won that football game against the New England Patriots, and had Buffalo won and did what they were supposed to do, the Titans are back in first place. But that is okay because if we beat, we take care of business and beat the Jaguars, we are back tied for first place in the AFC with New England. And then, of course, New England's on a bye. They have the Colts next week. And I believe that game is in Indy, so that's not going to be an easy game for the Patriots to win. If the Colts beat the Patriots and then we turn around and beat Pittsburgh, hey, we're back at number one again. So, and I think, honestly, if we get back to number one, I don't think we're going to give it up. I don't think we're going to give it up. So, we're just a half game out of that number one seed. Shay says, Hilliard's a mini beast. Can't wait to see him against the Jags. I agree. Will Day says, Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo should have won that game. Ms. Mims, it's okay that you're late. You're here. That's all right. One spot out of the number one seed. Yep, we're just a half game out. We're not behind. Buffalo had one job. I know that's right. Buffalo just had one job to do, and they couldn't even do that. So, everybody, let's quickly go into Pick My Brain. So, give me a few questions that y'all want to ask me. It could be Titans related, it could be football related. Hit me up, Pick My Brain. All right, y'all. So it's Pick My Brain time. So definitely hit me with some questions, and I'm gonna put a question out to y'all as well. What do you want to see most from the Jags game we got coming up? What would make you the most happy to see from the Jacksonville Jaguars game? Would it be, Julio finishing the game? Would it be running game continuing to stay intact? Would you like to see turnovers being caused? So while y'all are asking me questions, I'm putting a question out to y'all as well. Let's see. Ms. Mims, you're going to have to go back and you may have to go back and watch the episode from the beginning. I'm not going to spoil what we talked about earlier, but talked about some breaking news of the team, with Julio coming back. We got Zach Cunningham, all of that. Definitely go back and take a look earlier on and definitely catch up to speed. But I'm glad you're here. Glad you're back from Michigan, safe and sound. Lee says, what games down the stretch for the Titans are must wins? The simple answer would be all of them. I would say all of them. Definitely, I would say this game is a must win because we need to get back on track, get ourselves back centered. The Pittsburgh game, I think, is definitely a must win as well, so that we, that can help us get closer, get back to that number one seed spot. Because the Patriots have some tough games coming up. I mean, they got the Colts coming up, not this week, but next week. Then they got to play the Bills again as well. So, the Patriots don't have it easy down the stretch either. So, I think we got to beat Pittsburgh. We got to take care of business with Miami and Houston at the end, try to lock up a 1 seed. But I would say 4 out of our next 5 have to be must wins. Maybe the only one that's not a must win, but I do think we will win the game is San Francisco, because that's an NFC game. But the AFC games are must wins, in my honest opinion. Edward Day, what do you think about J-Rob claiming Cunningham? Like I said earlier, I love the move. I think it's an extremely solid pickup for the Tennessee Titans. Olastruck, Al Pierce, what's going on? Ken Wood said a victory would be the most important. I agree. Shane says a 41-10 dominating win. Paulie D says a dominant win, no turnovers. I could definitely get with that. Lee says the front, asking my question earlier, what would you like to see in this Jags game? Lee says the front 4 getting back to form. Laurel Company, see our offense show improvement. I can definitely sympathize with that. Which team do you see us playing first in the playoffs? That is an excellent question. As far like I'm looking up the standings right now because I know my graphic of standings is not up to date. So right now the Patriots are the number 1 seed. We are the number 2. So if the playoffs started right now, crazy as it's kept, we're playing the Buffalo Bills in round 1. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Kansas City Chiefs. The Baltimore Ravens will play the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs play the LA Chargers. So Buffalo would not be the team I would want to see first. I think a team I would want to see first is, I would be okay with either the Chargers or the Bengals first. Honestly, if we had to play in round 1. If we got the first round bye, I think the first team I would love to see, I would love us to get the first round bye and have to play a team like, I would say, the Bengals or the Chargers, honestly. Because then, if we're the number 1, if it started right now, we were the number 1 seed, Patriots will be playing the Bills, let them beat each other up. Again, the Ravens will play the Bengals, let them beat each other up. Kansas City played the Chargers, and then it will probably end up being the Patriots will have to play either the Ravens or the Chiefs. And then we're playing, because I think one of the lower seeds will win, and we will either be playing like the Chargers or the Bengals or something like that, which I think makes our road a heck of a lot easier, in my honest opinion. So I would like for us to get that number 1 seed, but if we were number 2, I would rather it be like the Bengals in that 7th seed or the Chargers instead of the Bills. I know we can beat the Bills. We've proven that we can beat the Bills. And honestly, the Bills are kind of falling off a bit. They're kind of, they were that team everybody thought would be, that team, but they're kind of falling off. And also you got to remember, Pittsburgh and Indianapolis are sneaking up as well. So we got to be careful of those teams as well with that. Edward said, yes, all of them winning. 49ers game isn't as important, but I still want us to win, without a doubt. D09 says, Tannehill got to turn it on, want to see him play better. And I think we will all want to see that. Pats have lost 2 games. Have to lose 2 games for us to go up on them since they hold a tiebreaker. That's true. And again, they have the Colts and the Bills coming up. And let me look at their remaining schedule for the Patriots. So the Patriots they got the Colts on the 18th. They're going to be playing, looks like on Thursday night. So on Thursday night, they're going to be at Indy. So next Thursday night, it's Indy and New England. And then they play the Bills again. And then they end the year with the Jags and the Dolphins. So for us to catch them and pass them, basically the Colts, they need to lose the next 2 games. They have got to lose the next 2 games for us to get that number 1 seed back. So it's not going to be easy. The Jags and Dolphins are bottom tier, bottom feeders. I think they'll win those 2, although the Dolphins do play them tough. The Dolphins historically have played New England pretty tough, and that's at Miami to end the year. Even though Miami is struggling, they tend to be the Patriots' kryptonite sometimes later in the year. So I would not foresee a loss. I don't foresee a loss to the Dolphins, but it wouldn't shock me. Shane said, do you see Tanny having a pretty strong bounce back game, or do you see us having another 230 yards on the ground against the Jags? I think Tannehill will have a bounce back game. I think he's done fairly well against the Jags in the past, and I think the running game will be solid. I don't think they'll do 230, but I can see about 140 or something like that. We're gonna get into the Jags in just a bit. Are you excited about King Henry returning soon? I think that's a rhetorical question, because I think we all would say heck yes. Indy has New England and Arizona coming up. So, Indy has some tough stretch of games too. Playoff, we always wind up with the Ravens. Well, as the 2 seed, we get the lowest. We'll get the lowest. Well, we would get, if we're the 1 seed, we get the lowest seed remaining. 2 seed, we get the highest seed remaining. So that's why I'm hoping we can kind of get back to that number 1 spot. I would like to avoid Kansas City as much as possible. Baltimore, I'm not really scared of. Baltimore and Buffalo are kind of 2 teams I'm the least scared of. The Chiefs are probably a team I'm most scared of right now, because they're finding themselves. Paulie D says, we're full stream, it don't matter who we play. I agree. Tighten Up said, want payback for the Ravens last year. I can see that. I think the Chargers will be better than the Bills and the Bengals for us. Let's see. Bills have no running game. True. Lawrence Williamson says a win would be great just to get back on the winning side. Tighten Up says Chargers scary more than any other team. Lawrence Williamson says the Bills. So how close are we getting Chester Rogers back? I don't remember Chester Rogers being hurt. He's not. He wasn't on the injury report. So I mean, I think that's pretty good. Patriots need to lose. Period. Agreed. Tighten Up says Miami's been playing well as of late. We'll definitely have to see. Courtney says, I don't want no easy road. Bring on the Patriots. With the defense we are now, we can beat them. We added Cunningham. We need to get our revenge. And I mean, I understand. You want to prove you can beat everybody and take the best road. You want to prove yourself by taking the toughest road. But I would say this. If you can get to where you can avoid Kansas City as much as possible, or avoid, facing New England until the AFC Championship, that's fine. I think at full strength, we beat the Patriots, even if it is in New England. Hopefully it ain't no snow. Let's see. What do you think about Zach Cunningham? I'm excited. I love the pick. Let's see. Emiliano Montoya. I hope I said that correctly. I'm definitely psyched about Zach Cunningham. Definitely love the pick. So now everybody, Shane's right. We tie them if we win this week. And then if they lose another game and we win a game, we're right back at the top. Because remember, we're going to be at 9-4. And then if they lose to the Colts, we beat the Steelers, we're at if they lose to the Colts, we beat the Steelers, we're at 10-4. we'll be at 10-4. They're at 9-5, and we're right back on top. We're right back on top. So that's what I would say. And again, remember the magic number is 3. So we win this week, magic number is down to 2. Then if we beat Pittsburgh, even if the Colts beat the Patriots, the number would go down to 1. So that's what I would say. Let's see. Do you think Tate will play? And what he thoughts about him and his age and have any juice left? I think Tate does get the call this time. We have to get back to winning. I definitely agree with that, Beavis. We should play different teams beside the same ones. I mean, hey, it just depends on how the cookie crumbles. I mean, I definitely hear you that. Who is the biggest offensive threat left on the schedule? Ooh, that's a good question. Biggest offensive threat? Maybe Pittsburgh? I don't know about San Francisco because, I mean, you know, they're having their issues offensively. I mean, Deebo Samuel, pretty good. I like Deebo Samuel. But I think Pittsburgh is probably the biggest offensive threat. So that's what I think. You know, so that's what I'm thinking on that. But yeah, I think it's time we get to talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, you know, this is what we have to contend with. The Jacksonville Jaguars, let's get into them. They lost their last game 37-7 to the LA Rams. Trevor Lawrence only threw for 145 yards, was sacked twice. Carlos Hyde had 9 carries, 24 yards, a touchdown. James Robinson only 8 carries, 24 yards, and both of them fumbled the football as well. So they had a couple of bad turnovers. Laquan Treadwell, a familiar name from Ole Miss, had 4 catches, 62 yards. Chenault 3 for 30. So the Jags did not really have a good day, and I mean, you know, they were out in LA. So not a good day for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not looking good at all overall. And, you know, the Jags 2-10 on the season. They really have nothing to play for. There's a little bit of inner turmoil within the Jags organization. This time, Trevor Lawrence, of course, calling out Urban Meyer, saying you need to play James Robinson more. And it looks like the coaching staff is favoring towards Carlos Hyde more than James Robinson. And remember, James Robinson has not practiced. You know, he was limited yesterday, did not practice today. Again, that's something to keep an eye on with that. Here are some of the numbers for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up, Tremaine? What's going on? The Jags, of course, 31st in points. In points scored per game at 15. They're 25th in total defense at 312 yards a game. 18th in rushing the ball and 26th in passing the ball, and have allowed 22 sacks. Of course, the Titans are 12th scoring offense, 16th in yards, 5th in running the ball, and 23rd in passing the ball. So they need to get their passing numbers up. But they have allowed 33 sacks, which is still not good. Need to be better in that department. Hopefully, with a full offensive line back, that is actually pretty good. Zach Carpenter, what's up? And tighten up, you're right. We do play like crap against the bad teams, and that is not good. So that's something we definitely need to fix. On the other side of the ball, the Titans are 23rd in points allowed, which they need to move that up. 17th in total defensive yards. They're 6th against the run, which is good, but they're 26th against the pass, which is not as good. And, of course, Janoris looks like he's not going to be able to go again. So Greg Maben coming back maybe is pretty good to go along with Christian Fulton, and Elijah Molden practicing today is a pretty good sign as well. Although the Titans do have 29 sacks, which is, 10 better than what they had all of last year. We still have 5 games to go. Our turnover differential, since we turned the ball over 9 times in the last 2 games and have not forced any turnovers, we're now at -7. On the other side, the Jaguars are giving up points. They're 29th in points allowed, 29th scoring defense in points allowed, 23rd in yards, 21st in against the run, and 19th against the pass. So, and they're -15 in turnover differential. So they're definitely turning the ball over at a pretty high clip, and they're not forcing any turnovers. So this could definitely be a get-right game for the Tennessee Titans, so they better get right. Cheryl, you beautiful lady, how you doing? We definitely should get a win. Thank you for joining me on today. And so this brings me to the Blue Enforcer, 4 points to victory. All right, y'all. So now it is time for the Blue Enforcer, 4 points to victory. How do the Tennessee Titans get back on their winning ways and get to 9-4 on the season? I will be at the game this Sunday, so there will not be a live stream, a live watch party, because I will be at the game when they face the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll be there. Point number 1, and this can kind of go to both sides of the ball, but mainly, this has been preached by Mike Vrabel, echoed by Kevin Byard and others. This is the message this week. Get back to basics. Get back to the basics. Get back to being who you are. Run the ball. Use more play action and reinstate the fundamentals. Ball security. Getting back to your roots. What got you to those 8 wins in the first place? And TD said it on is Talking with TD that I listened to the other day. And he said, hey, the Titans should come out play action right out of the gate. And I agree with that. I mean, I think the Titans need to come out play action right out the gate, use the pass to set up the run, and then go from there. I think that's what they definitely can do and should do to be able to use the run. Dante Foreman and Dontrell Hilliard, they did an excellent job running the ball against the Patriots. They just need to hold on to the ball. That's the key. So, ball security. That's going to be very important on that. So get back to basics. And number 2, clean up the mess. Quit beating yourselves. And again, that 36-13 loss to the Patriots, that score was not indicative of the game. The game was a hell of a lot closer than what 36-13 looks like. And the Titans had their chances, but they fumbled the ball. So the thing they have to do, take care of the ball, no turnovers. Clean this mess up. And that starts by not turning the ball over, taking care of the football. So that is point number 2. Point number 3. Again, I said earlier for the offense, get back to basics. Same thing on defense. Get back to basics, return to form. Get pressure up front with your front 4, with Simmons, Landry, Autry, and it looks like it'll probably be Ola Adeni. I know they got Tuzar Skipper back on the practice squad and released John Simon for the 430th time. And Derek Roberson is there as well. But get back to form, stop the run, stop Carlos Hyde and James Robinson, and wrap up and tackle. Don't try to go for stripping the ball. Wrap up, tackle, and then you try to go for the football. But as long as you have that wrap up happening, that's the first thing that you have to do. Wrap up and tackle. Basic fundamentals. And last but not least, and I've said this before, get Nashville nasty. Cause some Music City mayhem. Make the Jags one-dimensional. And then you can get after Lawrence, force him to throw the ball, and then you can force some mistakes. You can force some mistakes, you can force some turnovers. And if you get pressure up front, you get pressure after Lawrence, which we did a pretty decent job of that in the first game. And I mean, we came out right away with a turnover that led to a touchdown to start the game. So start hot, get after them, and cause some problems. So again, my Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. Get back to the basics. Get back to being who you are. Clean up the mess and stop beating yourselves. Number 3, defensively, return to form. And last but not least, get Nashville nasty. And get after Trevor Lawrence. That's what we got to do. Ms. Mim says need to win big against a 2-10 team. I agree. The GOAT, Jalen Ramsey, looks like he's calling me Biggie Small. Yeah, let me get Biggie Small's money. I'll say that. Duval. Well, y'all might be going down in Duval. We'll see about that. Al Pierce said, did you hear him? No turnovers. Let's kick some Jaguar tail. I know that's right. This is where the story starts. I agree with that. Thumb down to Jalen Ramsey. I agree. I give shout out to anybody that comes in and listens to the show. So shout out to Jalen Ramsey for tuning in. But I think we're going to take care of business this Sunday. And I'm not even worried about that. So, again, to close out the show tonight, y'all know I'm a history junkie. So I want to talk a little bit about Pearl Harbor. Because a couple of days ago, it was the 80th anniversary. It was the 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese. And that was an extremely sad day in American history. Being attacked like that from a foreign power, and the military wasn't really as prepared as they should have been for that attack. And unfortunately, close to 3,000 American lives were lost that day. And, it was a sad day, but I did like the fact of how America bounced back and came together and, was able to defeat the Japanese and help win World War II with that. So shout out to the U.S. military, to the Navy, to the Army, to the Air Force, to the Marines. Again, thank y'all for everything that y'all do. And also, another thing that we're going to celebrate, of course, it was also, the Tuskegee Airmen, the oldest living Tuskegee Airman, General Charles McGee, celebrated his 102nd birthday on December 7th as well. And of course, he's one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen. Of course, the all-black, all African-American fighter squadron that came out of Tuskegee, the first African-American, the first American black pilots in the U.S. military. Now, obviously, some other black pilots flew, went to other countries to fly. Like some went to Canada and flew in the Canadian Air Force, or ended up going overseas in England or France and in their Air Force to be able to fly. But this was the first installment of black pilots in the U.S. military. So again, shout out to the Tuskegee Airmen, shout out to the military, and thank you for all you do. Thank you to the Red Tails, without a doubt. Tremaine says, man, Julio, Golden Tate, and A.J. Brown, if they can get back to the regular form, geez. And I agree. Eyes watching me. Frat Brother said, play action, return to form. Teams don't respect the run game without Henry. Foreman isn't going to win games. Ryan Tannehill needs to step up. It's apparent he's a product of Henry and A.J. Brown. Now, Oz, I got to disagree with you on that. Teams, baby, don't respect the run, and that's why we had some success. Did you not watch the last game? We ran for 270 yards against the supposedly number 2 run defense in the league. And we ran for 270 yards against them. We would have had more if we didn't fumble the football. So, I mean, I think Hilliard and Foreman, and even against the Texans, they showed they could run the ball. So, I was watching me. I don't know what you was watching, sir. I think you need to get on the same page with the rest of us. So, come on back in. With that. But, everybody, I think that just about does it for tonight's show. I want to say thank you again to all of y'all. Thank y'all for letting me hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm closing in on 1,100 subscribers right now. So help me get to 1,500. Help me get to 2,000 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure y'all do. And as well, and make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I do go live with any show or with any updates. Again, also get your Titans and Truth swag, your merch. Definitely get a part of the Titans and Truth Nation with that. And so here's the information. You can hit me up as well. I'll be glad to help you get your Titans and Truth swag as well. So with that being said, y'all, thank you, Kent, for that. And there it is. You can run PA when your team runs for over 175 yards, Henry or not. We need to establish it. I agree. But y'all, thank y'all for tuning in to TNT tonight. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. And y'all get ready for Sunday. Make sure y'all share the show out. And let's see, got a couple other people. Hey, I appreciate y'all very much. Like you said, hit that like button. Let's get TNT to 1,500. Definitely with you, Paulie D. Thank you for that. Thank you, Tighten Up. I appreciate you. Come on. Yeah, eyes, come on with me now. But thank y'all again for tuning in. And y'all have a good rest of the night. And let's tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.